Hi, I'm Dr. Zain from Edify group of companies, and I am here to discuss everything there is to know about speaking module of the IELTS exam. So without any further ado, let's get to it. Let's first discuss briefly what IELTS exam is. International English Language Testing System is a series of tests designed by Cambridge University that you have to book in advance and have to take in a test center. It is designed to ensure that you know English. If you know English, you're not going to fail in this exam, and if you don't know English, you're not going to pass. It is as simple as this. The exam itself is divided into 4 modules: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. This video only aims to talk about the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. So without any further ado, let's talk about the pattern of the speaking module. Speaking module aims to check the proficiency of your spoken language. It is an 11 to 15 minute long interview type test which is divided into 3 sections or parts. The first portion or part 1 of the IELTS speaking module is personal questions and small talk, which is a 3 to 4 minute session of up to 9 personal questions about you. Each question will be directly directed at you. Each question requires an optimally 20-second response from you. Not any longer, not any shorter. Optimally, what you can do is have an answer, a direct answer, a reason for your answer, and then an example that supports your answer. Usually the common topics of part 1 are everyday topics that you have definitely experienced before. You have some hobbies, you have food every day, you go to work, you have a family. So these are the type of things that they're going to ask you about. What you do need to understand, however, is that you can answer in a specific way. You can answer using an ARE format, which is answer, reason, and an example. You're going to give a direct answer to the direct question, which will be your answer. And then you're going to give a reason for your answer and then an example that supports your answer. Let's now talk about the part 2 of the IELTS speaking exam, which is the individual long run. You will be given a cue card with a topic for you to speak on. You will have to plan your answer for 1 minute. Then you will have to speak on the topic for up to 2 minutes. The examiner can stop you at any time. You will have to cover some aspects of your answer that are mentioned on your cue card. The common topics for this include experiences, plans, vacations, travel, sports, etc. So basically the things that you can be passionate about, or maybe if you are not passionate about them, you can totally make everything up. The quality of your content does not matter. So even if you have done nothing regarding the topic in your life, you can totally make everything up and lie about it. Bullshit if you want to, but keep using good English. As you can see here, the cue cards have 2 parts: a question directly directed at you, and a second part which guides you regarding what you're going to speak. The second part, in essence, are 5 W's and an H of storytelling. What, when, where, why, who, and how are the aspects that you're going to talk about in the story that you're going to tell them. First, tell them the story that leads up to the part which is actually the answer to the question, and then describe the story and then move on to the future aspect of the story. I like to call this method as PPF method, which is a good way to not run out of ideas when speaking and dealing cue cards. Part 3 of the IELTS speaking module is open-ended discussion, which will be a 5-minute session of open-ended questions for which you are going to answer in a way of discourse, which is a speech-like fashion. Essentially treat all the questions as a mini cue card and deal all the 5 W's and an H on your own even if they're not asked of you. The topics are going to be the same as the cue card that you've already talked about. So hopefully you will not run out of ideas. Now let's talk about the assessment criteria for the IELTS speaking module. You will be marked on 4 aspects of your English language skills. Each aspect has predefined criteria and will be scored out of 9 bands based on predefined descriptors. And your final score is going to be an average of these 4 scores. The first assessment criteria is fluency and coherence, that is there to test your pace and hesitation. You will need logical coherence and storytelling skills to ace this part of the exam. Intonations and stresses that convey the meaning of a sentence are important, or may I say even essential. I'm sorry I'm going to make you imagine something grave, but let's eat grandma. I actually meant let's eat grandma. But even though the sentence is the same, the structure is the same, there is a comma that has to be spoken. Let's eat grandma does not have a meaning that is same as let's eat grandma. The stresses and intonations are an important part of English language and will be contributing towards your higher score. Second criteria is lexical resource, which will test the range and accuracy of your vocabulary. Topic-specific vocabulary will be given much more weightage than general uncommon words, which is expectable because a naturally learnt language is different from crammed list of words. Grammatical range and accuracy is the next aspect that you will be judged on. This will test the accuracy and complexity of your grammatical structures. Articulation, syntax, proper use of appropriate grammar, all will be assessed, which is also a hallmark of naturally learnt language instead of a cramped set of rules to use everywhere. So, appropriate grammar is important and can only be learnt with appropriate experience with English language. The fourth aspect that you will be tested on is your pronunciation. Your accent does not matter, except it does matter if you have a pretentious accent, because it will get you a lower score in general. Plus, it will have a lot of cringe factor involved. See how it was so cringy that I had to stop it? Having no accent means mastery of a language, so have no accent. Having no accent would have gotten you a higher score if accent did matter in IELTS exam, but pronunciation is all that matters, so keep your head clear of any accents and focus on the pronunciation. Hence the name of the descriptor, pronunciation. The four aspects of your English skills that will be tested and will be ranked in bands are described here in this document published by the IELTS by the name of IELTS Speaking Band Descriptors. Now, this is the public version and you cannot have the private version, which is meant only for the examiners. Try to make sure that all your efforts are directed in a way that you make yourself better in all these descriptors. Frankly, nothing else matters. In speaking module, nothing else matters. So make sure you only make yourself better in these things to get a higher score. Do not waste your time. I'm all for skills and everything, and that's a good thing that you have to understand a language and learn it in a natural way. But for the sake of IELTS speaking, you have to stick by this document. So try to understand and study it on your own time. Now, let's discuss just a few things that you will have to keep in your mind during the exam. While you're sitting in the exam, make sure you abide by these rules. Your posture must be good. Your posture is crucial. Not that it is judged or it puts a positive impact on the examiner. That is not important. The thing is that your posture tricks your brain into thinking that you are confident by changing your hormones that mediate stress and confidence. And when you are confident, your brain just works better. So, in order to act like a superhero, answer like a superhero, you have to first sit like a superhero. Each question is an opportunity to showcase your skills. So focus on the quality of your English, and the quality of your content does not even matter. You can lie, you can make everything up, you can bullshit if you want to. The quality of your content does not matter, only the quality of your English matters. So focus on that. You need to make the length of your answers optimal. They're neither supposed to be long nor too short. Focus more on the quality, and the length is usually irrelevant unless the answer is criminally short. Each answer should showcase your English skills, which can be a double-edged sword, as you're more likely to make mistakes which are heavily penalized when you're making the answer longer. So do the thing that is not penalized. Keep your answers short, as I like to call it KIS. Keep it simple. Do not make your sentences overly complex. This is not going to serve you well. The last thing to keep in mind is that you need to state your name when you're asked to state your name. Nothing else. Please do not speak any sentences while stating your name in the beginning of the test. The examiner will first state his own name and his own examiner ID. Then he will state your candidate ID and ask you to state your name. That is for the purpose of the record. Sometimes they're even asked to make this mistake on the behalf of their teachers, and this is just silly. You're not asked to start showcasing your skills until after that. The interview starts afterwards. So make sure you understand that. This is all that you need to know regarding the speaking module of the IELTS exam. You do not need to know anything apart from this, except for a few tips and tricks which I will discuss in subsequent videos, so stay tuned. Also, mind that your examiner is not going to ask you anything from his own self. The interview is scripted and is published by Cambridge University, and he has to adhere by his own rules. You definitely can ask him to repeat and rephrase whatever he asks you if you do not understand him. But please do not ask him the meaning of something that you do not understand. Now you know everything you need to know to perform well on speaking module of IELTS exam. Comment if you have any query, like if you like it, and subscribe for more such content. See you in the next one.